Hi, I'm Craig the Pool Man with Pool Specialist, and we're on location here doing a pool inspection. I'm going to give you some ideas of what the most important things to look for a pool inspection. This happens to be an exceptionally nice pool with no problems. So if that's a good reference, here we go. We're going to start with a leak detection. This is an automatic level sensing device that is going to determine whether the pool is leaking any water. And if you look in here, you will find that it's registering 0, and consequently this pool has no leaks. Second, we're going to come over, we're going to do a bonding check. And this goes back to the bonding wire. You can see that if we just have a piece of wire in the water, that we actually have conductivity back to the equipment pad and where the pump is bonded, which is great. And then we would also check the actual railing and would also check the handrail. You can see where the bonding wire is attached, and that bonding wire that we're checking back at the pool is running to the pump. So that's our verification that we actually have connectivity between the pool, the equipment pad, the circuit breakers, so to prevent electrocution drowning. This is a fiberglass pool, so you should have what's called an evacuation tube. That would allow you to actually get any water out from below the pool in case you had to drain it so that the pool did not float or pop. And then of course right next to it is a skimmer. You can see that you've got great water flow into the skimmer, and that water flow is coming from a spillover with a very nice sun deck. This happens to be a fiberglass pool. Whomever installed it did an excellent job. You can see that it's completely level. The tiling is excellent. The finish on the pool is excellent. This is really not the norm. Here's our equipment pad, and it is very nicely done. It has all Pentair equipment, which I consider top of the line and the best quality. You can see that it has a variable speed pump there, which is incredibly energy efficient. It's going to save you twice, or it's going to take half the energy of a regular pump to run this, and definitely save you a lot of money on your energy bills. There's our filter. You can see that the pressure gauge is actually functioning. There's no water coming out of the backwash line. And there's our heater. Heater does function. I had it running for a while, and I have since turned it off, but no problems with the heater. The only issue I have with this heater is how close the vegetation is. The exhaust gas from that gets extremely hot, and it could actually ignite the vegetation if it was a dry year. So I would recommend that they cut that vegetation back a couple feet from the heater. This pool has a chlorinator. I'm not particularly fond of using chlorine tabs. If you must use chlorine tabs, try not to buy the stabilized ones or the ones that contain cyanuric acid. Purchase what's called an NST, non-stabilized tab, and those typically go in the skimmer. They are currently prototyping a chlorinator that those will fit into and function correctly. Here we have an automation system. This is a simple automation system, and it does have a remote that allows you to access it either from a phone, a tablet, computer, or possibly just a handheld remote. You'll notice that the circuit breakers, in particular, the pump is a GFI breaker. That is code in North Carolina. Many pools of older years do not have GFIs, and while it is not mandatory to change them, it is a good idea because it prevents electrocution and drowning. This pool has low voltage LED lighting, which is a very nice feature. You'll notice a light there, a light there, and then also in the sun deck, which you can see it right there. Your junction box for the lighting for the pool is typically close to the pool. You find it out over here, probably 15 feet away from the pool in the landscaping. And then that goes back to the equipment pad where the transformer is. We are back at the equipment pad, and there is our transformer, which takes the voltage from 120 volts down to 12 volts. This is something that is relatively new, but of course with electrocution drowning, you're not going to get electrocuted with 12 volts. So the 12 volt lights are the way of the future and much safer. All right, we're going to do a quick, simple check on the water. And what you'll find is there's virtually no chlorine in the pool. And if you wait, you'll find that the cyanuric acid is a little bit elevated. This would continue to rise, and when it gets up to 100 parts per million, the water becomes unsafe because the chlorine will no longer become effective. The rest of it looks pretty good. We will take a water sample back to our office, and we're going to run it through a spin lab and see exactly what type of readings we get with the spin lab. We've taken the water sample from the pool inspection, run it through the spin lab, and as you can see, these are the results that we've got from the water test. Moving on to other safety issues, you'll notice that this pool actually has dual drains, which many years ago North Carolina required dual drains, and several years ago the federal government mandated dual drains with special covers, which is called VGB, or Virginia Graham Baker. Okay, one of the concerns for the homeowner is, of course, your barrier or your fence, that it meets code and it's not going to allow little children to wander into the pool or even somebody's pet. The other thing, of course, is the gate. And the gates, according to North Carolina code, must be what's called self-closing, self-latching. So if you let it go, it has to latch. And as you can see, that gate works perfectly. As we've checked the other gates also self-close, self-latch. And so if you look at the barrier of this, it's perfect. There's no issues with the fence, there's no issues with the gates. Okay, so in conclusion, that's what a typical pool inspection looks like. Some of the most important things are to find out if the pool has a leak. If the pool has a leak, it will cost you $500 or more to find the leak, and then typically several $1,000s to repair the leak. Also, the bonding. Bonding is a big safety issue, and if the bonding is not connected correctly, that could cost you a few $1,000s to have that fixed. So those two things that you definitely want to check on the pool. The equipment in this pool is exceptional. The pool condition is exceptional. So this is not your typical pool inspection. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.